Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I wanted to say that.
You only get, right now you're only seeing like 1/10 of them. I'm covered.
I'm so jealous.
Well, I have a tattoo company, which you'll hear about in a second. We can work it out. So let me just give you a little Reader's Digest version of about me. Okay. I was somebody who, in high school, I was always kind of the class clown. I was always lots, like many of you probably feel, you have your own unique talent and your own unique perspective, and it makes you feel that you kind of know more than other people. Most people feel that way in the world, right? Now, what I'm here to do today is I'm going to kind of challenge what you think about yourselves, what you think about others, what you think about business, what you think about learning, and how that all can play into your life here. So by the time I leave today, we're going to kind of, each of you are going to have a life goal set, and you're going to have the steps to get there. So this is not going to be a lecture, okay? It's going to be an interactive experience. So I want you guys to randomly ask questions. That's cool. Cut me off at any time. Ask me a question. That's completely fine. It's not a lecture format. I'm just here as a friend trying to give you some information, okay? So step one for me is I was in that high school, and all of a sudden at 17 years old, I get diagnosed with testicular cancer. Now, at 17 years old, bless you, at 17 years old, I was about 200 pounds, strongest guy that anybody knew. Oddly enough, I was born with 3 testicles. Really weird fact. Made me have a lot of testosterone. When you have a lot of testosterone, you get very aggressive, right? So by nature, I was very aggressive. By nature, I was very strong. So also by nature, I defended others. That was part of my story. Now, as I'm defending others, all of a sudden, I get hit with the mortal blow. As a fighter who wasn't really used to losing, all of a sudden the doctor says you have 6 months to live. On the phone. He called me on the phone and told me I had 6 months to live. So my tattoo artist, my best friend Josh Sterling, I called him immediately and I was crying and I was destroyed. And nobody had even seen me like that because I was the strong guy. I was the one that everybody looked up to. So all of a sudden at 17 I go, okay, I'm dying. So they say. So instead of pursuing the UFC career that I was currently on tangent to do, I decided to shift to bodybuilding. The reason I did that was I went in for a double surgery, and I had to experience going from 200 pounds and bulletproof to 150 pounds and not feeling so bulletproof, some staples in me, some stitches, not feeling so good, okay? Now, at that point, which a lot of people who experience some form of injury experience, you have no purpose all of a sudden. You have no ambition. You have no energy. Your self-esteem in the toilet, okay? So what I did was I took a bike ride, which I enjoy doing, and I remember putting some music on, and just biking around the city and just wondering what I was going to do with myself. So I walk into Precision Family Fitness, which is now Riverside Family Fitness. I walked in, and the man at the desk was one of the biggest guys I've ever seen. He actually really impressed me the second I walked in. I was like, wow, look at this guy. And his name is Jerry Poirier. He's now a Mr. Canada competitor. And at the time, I didn't know any of that. So I walk in, and I very humbly, because I had no pride left in me at that moment, I humbly walk in. I said, sir, could I volunteer here? Could I vacuum? Could I clean weights? Could I do anything to just do something? He's seen that petition from my soul, I guess. Interestingly enough, Jerry was a Baptist preacher and he really cared about people. So he looked at me and said, yeah, son, come by tomorrow and you can start doing that. So 4 hours a day for the next 2 months, I cleaned treadmills, I shined mirrors, and I was positively enthused about it. I was so excited about it that I got compliments all day about how clean the gym was. And that just gave me something to focus on, cleaning the gym. So one day, this guy invites me in, and he says, my workout partner dropped out today. I think you could work out with me. And of course, like a little kid, I was like freaking out, excited. Yes, of course, I'll train with you. So I start training with them, and we work out for about 6 months. And he teaches me about bodybuilding, which I didn't know. I was very good at mixed martial arts. I was very good at training in old school fashion. So I never learned bodybuilding, which is a science. And so he taught me all this science. And I didn't really know, as I was hanging out with my friend Jerry, that he was teaching me how to become a personal trainer. And he didn't even tell me he was teaching me how to become a personal trainer. He just did it. And all of a sudden one day he says, we're 5 weeks out from the Mr. Windsor competition. Would you like to compete? I said, yeah, I guess, but I don't know how I'm going to make it in 5 weeks. Normally you train for a bodybuilding show for 16 weeks to 25 weeks. So he said, no, you can do it. So I had 5 weeks to lose 55 pounds. I did that. I I was going through chemotherapy in the morning, because I was going through cancer treatment at the time. I gave my mom, who was standing at the back, the Mr. Windsor trophy at the end of the day. So through chemotherapy, after the surgeries, didn't matter to me, I was a champion. So I searched for that trophy, I got that trophy, and that was my first step to becoming who I am now. And so at that point, I go back to the gym, and I'm kind of done with bodybuilding because I get bored of things really, really quickly. So I move on, I'm going to do powerlifting. I'm going to see how strong I can get. So I'm still doing chemotherapy, I'm still doing radiation. At 205 pounds, I had a record for, I was benching 630 pounds. Nobody in the gym had even seen anything like that, but I was throwing up in the garbage after because radiation was making me queasy. Right? So you go in, be the strongest man anybody's ever seen. Oh, hold on, not feeling so good. That was kind of life at that point. So trials and tribulations kind of continue, right, as they always do in everybody's life. I get to a point where I'm feeling pretty good about things. You know, I got a nice little personal trainer career. I'm doing good in life. It's fine. I decide to invent a little product that I'm going to sell out of a bong shop. You guys will love this one. Endless Heights by the university. I used to own it. I invented something. Somebody challenged me, and I have a big ego and a big intellect that goes with it. So they challenged me and said, "Just, could you create something that was like marijuana, but I could legally purchase it, and it would fix my health?" So I did that. Crazy idea. It was called Crystal Kush. You guys can Google it later. And so Crystal Kush was 5 legal herbs that you could smoke, and nobody could get mad at you, and it healed your body. So dandelion root and damiana and herbs that could actually heal your body. So I said, what could I change the culture of smoking with this crazy little product I'm becoming? So for a year I did. And then personal issues happened. All of a sudden I broke up with my girlfriend. All of a sudden I'm being a crazy young man, being all depressed. And I decided to run off to Chatham. I'm going to start a different business. Well, I'm out one night with my friend in Chatham, and a person randomly calls me up for a fight in a bar. I am known to always say yes to a fight, having worked as a bouncer in bars for about 5 years. Okay, there's 500 stitches in my head to show that. Well, that night, I got ambushed by the guy. He calls me up for the fight. I turn into the parking lot, ambushed by a knife right across the face. 140 stitches across my face. My eye was cut in half. My nose was cut in half. I currently am blind in that eye. I cannot see anything. So if you're on this side, sorry, can't currently see. You'll notice that I have to keep turning my head. Okay? So that eye was cut, and after having to go call my own ambulance and dying a few times that night, having to be resuscitated, 3 liters of blood pumped into me, it kind of changes how you feel about yourself. So I wake up in a London hospital with nobody around me at all, and I have to analyze, okay, now what am I going to do? And in my heart, I felt, how could somebody cut my eye? How could somebody be so disgusting that they would take my eye from me as an athlete, as a pro athlete, as somebody who I use my athleticism to make money? So I'm technically a professional athlete, but he took that from me. That's what most people would have thought. I've seen it in my, I call it crazy brain. I think that's how most people's brains should operate. And I took it as a real opportunity to change it. What was cool was I got to wear an eye patch for about 3 years. So I got to walk around with this cool leather eye patch. And at the time, I was called Justin Fournier. My mom at the back, she named me Justin Maurice Rosaire Fournier. That is my name on paper. I didn't want to be that anymore. I decided, you know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be Justice. I've always been Justice. I've always been the guy that you call and I lay the hammer down anyway. It's always been my personality. I'm always a guy that I'm kind of evil for a good purpose if I have to be, right? You have to sometimes do things that aren't entirely right in order to get to a bigger, higher moral answer. So my first client at Precision Family Fitness, this is what changed my life, and I'm hoping you guys, really want you to listen to this part because it's kind of the validating experiences that lead you to bigger experiences, okay? So the validating experience was I'm sitting in this gym. I had just won my Mr. Windsor trophy. I'm feeling pretty cool. You know, I'm walking around. I'm really proud of it. So I know form of exercises now, and I can show it off. So this nice old man that I've seen in the gym, he is doing lap pull downs, and I'm sure you guys have seen that in the gym. He's doing lap pull downs, so he's doing it behind his head. If you do behind your head, you're going to hurt your shoulder, you're going to hurt your neck. It's not very good for you, okay? Now, I walk over and said, "Sir, I don't mean to be rude. Could I please show you the correct form of that? I think you're going to injure yourself, right? Now, this is one thing, by the way, if you ever approach anyone, as long as you explain why you're approaching, everybody's approaching. Okay, so I approach this guy, I say, can I please help you? I change his form, he's really happy about that. Cool. He goes to the next couple exercises, and of course, there's a consistency with this man. He is doing all of it incorrectly. So I go and I say, sir, please, honestly, can I just walk you through the rest? I stopped my workout. I went to the guy and said, listen, let me just train with you the rest of the day, okay? Just let me show you what's going on before you hurt your shoulder. He's like 63 years old. He's going to hurt himself. He's lifting weights he shouldn't be lifting. We become friends instantly. Sometimes, like your teacher, kindred souls, all of a sudden she couldn't leave my store for 2 hours because we couldn't stop talking. We were like that. We became instant friends. This man happens to be the head of psychology at the University of Windsor, Professor Bob Orr.
He's my favorite professor.
Bob
I'm not
Orr.
even joking, yeah.
And he has taught PhD psychology for 40 years. He is in Windsor, has won awards for the lead of psychology. If you want to talk psychology in University in Windsor at all, Bob Orr's the guy to go to. He writes papers on it. And he teaches, oddly enough, behavioral psychology. Oh, damn. I'm in for something now, right? So little do I know this. He says, so what you're telling me is I need you. I'm like, sir, I didn't say that at all. I'm just saying that you did some things incorrectly, and I was happy to help you out. Here's 20 bucks. Cha-ching, wait a second, hold on, light bulb. Did somebody just pay me for that? Did I just get 20? Did I just do what I love doing? And somebody gave me $20. Okay, that started. All of a sudden I trained Professor Orr for 5 years straight, 3 days a week. So I'm closer to him than most of his family. His wife's a clinical psychologist, Ann Orr. I went and I trained her. His granddaughter started calling me Uncle Just. All of a sudden I'm right into this family where my family knows nothing of these things. None of us are educated, university, none of us have college educations. The white-collar world is just completely not in my family. All of a sudden, I'm introduced to this for the first time with Professor Orr. And we become friends in a fashion that he really respects my perspective on life because I'm very intelligent and I'm like an observational comic almost. I just watch life and I just speak about it. And he always used to tell me that I'll take his job one day because I listened to every single thing he said to me. So he would teach me things like an I statement. Does anybody know what an I statement is? I statement? What's an I statement?
Like if you're upset, you say, I feel such and such a way
Because you did such and such a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect answer. What's your name?
Carla.
Carla, nice to meet you. Now, just what he said, when communicating with people, I had no idea, right? So I was always fist fighting because someone would say something to me. I'm like, you know what? I don't understand. Bang! Oh, consequences. Wait, is that what I was supposed to do? No, Bob Orr said, he used to just say one word to me every day. Look me in the eyes and say, consequences. And he would enunciate it. He would make sure that I heard it. Because there was consequences to my actions. Every single action, there was a consequence. So he taught me when there's a consequence. So Carlo and I, we get an argument, and he's going to say, you know what, Justice? When you yell at me, it makes me feel like you don't care about me at all. Okay, Carlo, damn, sorry, man. I'm sorry, I'm backing off. What I realized was if he spoke to me in that fashion, I would feel in a fashion that I didn't want to treat you badly anymore, right?
Yeah.
So an I statement, something that I couldn't afford a university class for, there's no way I was going to go sit in a psychology class. I was on the street doing my thing. It wasn't happening. But this guy took the time to teach me what an I statement was. So what I want you guys to think of today is whether somebody, you only meet them for an hour or you meet them for an hour 3 times a week, one sentence, one word can change your life forever. Seriously, one phrase can change the way that your operating system works, okay? So I have a little exercise here I want you guys to do. Do me a favor, pass these out. What's your name? Addie? Nice to meet you. Addie's going to hand this paper out here. Is it Addie or Addie? Addie. A-D-E? Yeah. My favorite martial arts student that I currently have has the same name, interestingly enough. We're going to be friends, yes. He says Addie, but the same spell. This paper in front of you is something that I wish somebody would have handed me at your age. Okay? We are basically going to walk each of you through a conversation with yourself. So these papers are not getting graded. If you want me to look at them, I will. And if you don't, it's cool. This is ultimately for you. This is your exercise for yourself. I'll take an extra one.